Recording.
We are recording.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll do roll call quick or pledge first. What am I? Kicking out.
Please up here in case you don't.
Oh. To the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's a good idea, Tim.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm kidding you.
I used to have
That looks good.
like the history of the pledge, like it, you know, the most recent version was adopted in the fifties with the underline. No, no.
I like it. Okay, roll call. Irvin, here. Laraway.
Here.
Simon.
Here,
Wicker.
Here.
Gray.
there,
Tefreshi.
Here.
Bacon here.
We have a vacancy.
Vacancy.
I'll take a motion for the agenda approval.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Everyone have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes. I did. I did. I did.
You want to make a motion?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, we'll move along to the election of officers. So
Go ahead.
we'll need a motion for each position, or we would entertain a single motion for all.
I would make a motion that we elect to keep you as our chairperson and Mike Simon as our vice chairperson. I believe that's all the positions we need, right?
The precious secretary.
So I'm sorry.
I'm on
I'm
two.
secretary.
Yeah.
I'm just used to you taking all the minutes.
On the board in front of you.
Okay. And
Don't forget yourself.
ZBA rep always made.
Don't forget yourself.
Yeah.
Make that all one motion, sorry. I'm just used to the chair and vice chair, so, because he does all the minutes.
Yeah, I know.
By law, I cannot be
I know.
your secretary. It has to be a member of the board.
I should have learned that by all these years now, so.
Okay, so that was a motion?
Yes. Scrambled together, but a motion.
I like it. All those in favor?
Is there a second?
Leo,
Okay, sorry, Leo.
All those opposed, same sign? Wonderful, that passes. We're in for another year. Moving along to the chairperson, which is me, and I don't have. People don't think we're very funny.
You can do it.
I don't really have a
Yeah.
report this evening, so we'll move along to village manager.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Few items to touch base on, it's covered in your packet, in case you haven't heard. Eagle, which stands for Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, has approved the dredging permit for Birch Bay. We have, published a RFP that is due this Friday. So far, we've had no bids submitted, but we've had inquiries from, I think, 4 different firms with questions about it. So I'm optimistic that we're gonna get, a bid or 2 in. I'm not optimistic that the weather's gonna let us do it this spring at this point in time. Or even this winter, I should say, because it's certainly not winter right now. And if you look at the long range forecast, it's spring, folks. I mean, it really is. So no harm, no foul. We can, get a bid in. Maybe approve it for the fall. We could reject them all and go back out for the fall. So lots of options there. I did have a follow-up call with the very competent people at the United States Census Bureau. As you know, we vehemently disagree with our population count from the 2020 census. We were undercounted. We were able to go to them and show that, hey, you completely missed this many homes in our community based on your census tracts and GIS maps that show these homes in these locations. And I said, well, we can only enumerate the homes we knew of, sorry, and it's gonna cost $280,000 to do a full recount of the village.
Yes.
So we're probably not gonna pursue that option. We are gonna reach out to the state, probably through either Roger Hawk or Jerry Nyer's office, The official entity at the state is the state demographer's office. That's the one that sends the population data to the various state departments. So that's what Treasury uses, is what MDOT uses and all the funding formula. So to reach out to the demographer's office to see, is there any other like way you would accept the number other than the official stamp of the US Census Bureau? There might be, there might not be. Some states, their office is more, liberal, that they'll take a locally done survey if it's done, in a certain way and so on and so forth. So we're at least gonna explore that option. But I'm not really optimistic at this point in time. So, keep trying doors until one opens, maybe. Working on a grant application, for funding to do, a target market analysis for homes in the community as part of the master plan. That is something that would only occur if we get a grant to do it, because the price tag is 45 grand. So that's not one we're gonna obviously do ourselves, but if Michigan wants to fund it, by all means, I would love to do that, because that's a central component of our current master plan, is the target market analysis that was done, roughly, I think, 2017-ish, that range. And that one was done through MCOG, which is our regional planning entity in the state. The state's divided up into different regions. And MCOG contracted with, the company that I reached out to, and had one done for each county, and in each county, the 3 largest municipalities each had, like a mini, analysis done of their target market analysis. All that's in our plan right now. And our economic development strategy is built entirely around housing. We're not, we're certainly not opposed to business, but, that's not what we are focused on, because we have, a lack of water and sewer, quite frankly. We're a veteran community. We market ourselves on quality of life. That's where we want to be, so. You're missing a planning commission member tonight, because she is now a member of the village council. Charlie Keel unfortunately had to resign due to, residency needs in Florida. As a resident of Florida, you can get flood insurance and hurricane insurance, where if you're not, it's incredibly difficult now.
Yeah, it is.
And, we got a second vacancy. Al Davis has resigned. He completed building a home that is just outside the village limits, over on Rollin Road. That vacancy has not been filled. The council will be, hopefully dealing with that at their meeting next week. Going from the same candidate pool that applied for the vacancy that they just appointed last month. We have probably about 20 homes that have signed up through at various points in the winter through home checks. So that's something that we do with code enforcement, and we also coordinate with the sheriff's department. So when they're out doing patrols in the village, they've got that list to check on when they have free time. Bugged you through email several times about training opportunities through the Michigan Association of Planning. If anyone still wants to bite that apple, let me know, because we're sending out a check this week. Last week, I was in Lansing on Wednesday, testifying before the House Local Government and Municipal Finance Committee on proposed changes to the Land Division Act. It was a trip down nostalgia lane, because the current Land Division Act, which was drafted in '96 and effective in '97, was written in large part by former Lake Isabel Planning Commission Chairperson Jack Walker, who was the realtor for or lobbyist for the Realtors Association at the time in the '90s. I know it'll come as a huge shock to you, but very few people in the legislature or have been involved in drafting changes to it have any understanding of how the act actually works.
Surprise.
And so these changes are being prompted largely through the realtors under the guise of, we need more land for development sites to help the state's housing shortage. There's a lot to discuss in that line of thought, but what they had proposed was changing the number of splits on a parent parcel from 4 for the first 10 acres to 20. None of them realize, though, that in the act, a parent parcel is specifically defined as a parcel that was legally existing on the date that the Land Division Act was created and went into effect, which is March 31st, 1997. So anything that's been split off from that is considered a child parcel under the act. So going back to parent parcels to award divisions now makes absolutely no sense, because you know, what happens in a case where, you know, you've got a 10-acre parcel that was divided off 4 times in 2.5-acre parcels. And now theoretically, there's 16 more divisions there, but who do they go to? You know, that this is not something that is practically doable, in my opinion, and would result in significant litigation on local units, because you'd have pressure to, hey, I want these extra splits are gonna go to somebody, so I've submitted suggestions on alternative amendments that essentially accomplish the same end result, but do it based off of the child splits, or even a new round of, consider called grandchild splits, because, you know, if you do a split, you're allowed to do a redivision after 10 years. Well, the act's been amended 27 years, so it's appropriate to add another layer of what I would call grandchild splits to the act, or have splits just conform to a local ordinance. So you could do more than the act says, as long as it meets your local zoning. And part of the reason why you don't do that now is just because it's a tremendous process to go through the plating process. The site condo process is faster, but it still takes more time. So I've got a virtual meeting Thursday with the realtor lobbyist, the MML. Is who I'm there testifying on behalf of. I'm the chair of the local government land use committee, so. Ultimately, I think the act can be amended to allow divisions in a quicker, faster, easier way that don't result in everybody getting sued because people don't know what splits go to. And last but not least, before Bob gives a council report, the meeting for next week has been moved to Wednesday from Tuesday. Village President Torgerson has a family member that is having surgery and will not be available. And since we're going to be hopefully appointing to fill a vacancy, the council was agreeable to moving the date so everyone can be part of that decision process. I think that's all I got for you.
Now, in that act, did it mention anything? Because you have to be deeded those developmental rights on a deed.
Supposed to be, correct. And that was another thing I pointed out.
Didn't get that.
And that's
in
what
the
I
deed.
pointed out in that scenario is that, you know, a 10-acre parcel right now under the act, if it's a parent parcel, could be divided 4 times. So let's just say that got completely divided off. All of those deeds should have language in there that says has the right to make 0 splits under the Land Division Act. So how are you going to, as an assessor, release 16 more divisions on properties that the deed said has no right to make divisions under the Land Division Act?
Most deeds that I see, they just automatically put the word all in.
Or 0 or none, you know, and those are also complicating things, because it's supposed to say a specific number.
Yeah, and a lot of times they say all.
Yeah, 'cause
And I
that
also-
doesn't tell them, I
It
don't know
doesn't
if
tell
you have any
anything, you have
rights or
no
not.
idea what you
You
have.
get whatever you get.
Right.
In other words, all is supposed to be hey, you get whatever.
You know, and I also
split you're
point
entitled to.
point out that people have bought those splits as a commodity essentially
Mhm.
to limit development potentially of their neighbors or whatever
That
when
is
they buy
correct.
a parent parcel. So now I, you know, just that corner of the lake at the southwest corner, the Mr. Development, you know, Gavin McDermott's property. Kent and Claudia Roth, the deed that they have to the last parcel down at the end, took the right to make the last division available under the Land Division Act there. So they bought that as part of a real estate transaction with the, you know, and as a valuable commodity. And now if you amend the act and throw 16 more divisions out there for that piece of property, you know, that is something in and of itself that's problematic, in my opinion.
Mhm. They intended for no neighbors when they did that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
You have to give us an update on that next month.
I'll be happy to, but, you know, in testifying, you know, the bill came out of Senator, I think Herzl's district, Chesterfield Township. It was a specific issue where developer bar parcel wants to divide it up in a way that matches the lots around them. It's too small a piece of parcel to justify the expense of platting. But he can't make the parcels meet those around him because there's only so many splits due to parcel size. And, you know, that's kind of the driver behind this. Also testifying was the Michigan Townships Association. They were neutral but had concerns. MML was neutral, had concerns while I was there. And then the Michigan Society of Professional Surveyors testified in opposition, and they submitted an alternative draft that was just absolutely brutal to try and read. It's like, we want you to, you know, record all of these easements and all this other stuff. And the comments that I made back to them was, you know, these are not inappropriate things to consider in the development process, but like utility easements aren't something you should worry about in the initial division. That's something that you're gonna have to sort out with the utility company when you go to try and have electricity run to the property. You shouldn't try and make us deal with all the driveway permits right now, because what if the driveway standards change at the local unit, that we go to a thicker, you know, requirement culvert or something like that, you know, like. As a municipality, I don't wanna be on the hook that I've conditionally approved 8 driveway permits and, you know, today, but 15 years when someone goes to do it, we've got a different standard. Well, hey, you approved it, you know, in 2024 with this standard. I shouldn't have to put the bigger tube in. And they also wanted to subject it to stormwater review and approval. It's like, wait, time out. Coldwater Road here, I can have 3 different entities that can claim jurisdiction on stormwater. I can for zoning, the county road commission can because it's their road, and the drain commissioner can because there's a ditch by it. Like, who's gonna sign off on that? And another one of their points was, you know, there'll be no negative impact to wetlands as determined by a qualified individual. You don't define who a qualified individual is under the act. Like, these are important things to think about. Like, am I a qualified individual because I'm an AICP planner?
Probably DEQ is.
You know?
thinking, but
Like, whatever, so. And ultimately, my comment back is, you know, the Home Builders Association and the Realtors both wanna see the act amended. Neither one of them are gonna be in support of any of these proposed amendments, because it's just entirely burdensome and it's gonna slow down the process, so.
So which way do you think it's gonna go?
I would definitely think the act's gonna get amended,
Okay.
How much? And
Where does like the health department and all that come in?
so, right now, if you plat or site condo, you have to have, you know, basically each lot or unit passed by the health department. When you do a land division act, you don't have to, but the act also says that, you're not, just because you approve a split doesn't mean you're guaranteeing the right to develop.
Right.
So it's in their best interest to go and do it. But caveat emptor, buyer beware, you know. And the parcel size standard in the act is 1 acre. So as long as over an acre, they don't have to do it. If it's an acre, under an acre, I believe they have to for splits. They have to get out department approval. But
an acre or more?
yeah, anything smaller than an acre. I think it's section 108A or 109. Exciting stuff, let me tell you. Land division act.
good luck on Thursday. Mr. Laraway, you're up.
Mr. Wolf covered a number of things. We did have 3 meetings since our last meeting. And mostly housekeeping items. We did finish out resolution 2023-04, which is updating the language and grammar consistency. That was updated, took quite a while, really. There were no public comments, so it passed 7-0. We did extend the contract with Kings for 2 years. Revised and updated the 2023 to our 2024-25 budget. And, that information is all available on the website. And the December meeting, Tim mentioned we accepted, Charlie Keel's resignation. We approved opening a second bank account with signers for the Lake Restoration Committee, so that they're totally separate from the village account. And also, we had Mr. Davis resigned. The interesting thing that I found on all of them was the number of people who showed up with interest in taking those. There's 6 or 7 people showed up interested in serving on the council, which is almost unheard of.
I've never seen.
I never heard.
Probably more if their employers would have let them.
And a younger group of people too.
Yeah.
Not that we're old,
It's
younger
nice
than
to
me
see.
anyhow.
It's nice to
Yeah.
see that they want to get involved.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. They're generally interested. We've got Carrie on board now and, February, I think we've invited all the other ones back. Pick another one in February, and we'll be up full strength again.
Great, don't forget to let them know we have a vacancy if there's any interest there.
Yep. And we let them know that at the last meeting and encourage them all to apply for that position. So hopefully we'll fill that in February too.
There's some good quality candidates.
Yeah, good
From both
quality
council and
applicants.
planning commission, so, yeah.
Very much so.
Some with a lot of experience and some with some other experience too, so.
So, that's pretty much it. The main thing was approving the budget and handling the replacement positions.
Bob, was there anything more done on the chickens?
No, that's going to be one of the questions that we send out in the survey. When's that going out?
We're gonna talk about that under existing business number 1.
That question will be on there. It'll be, I believe it's gonna be separate from the BTV. That's 2 separate questions. Hopefully. We'll see what the public has to say about that. We did suggest that we reach out to some of the communities that do allow it. See what kind of problems, if any, they've had. If it does go through, we want to be ahead of any potential problems. With that, back to you.
Okay, Tim, we don't have anyone online, do we?
No, we do not.
Okay, so we have public hearing, but there are none, and I'm assuming since we have no public present, we'll have no public comment. So we're gonna move along to
Public
existing
either.
business.
So under existing business, we have talked previously about sending out a survey as part of our master plan process. The current preferred schedule from my seat on the table is to wait until after the February millage election. Primarily because assuming that the millage does not pass, we need to start getting feedback from our community about, what their feelings and desires are for potential services we may need to take on in-house that could be taught by the county. Obviously highest among those are gonna be road patrols, lake patrols, animal control, but also mundane things like issuing passports, like we can become a passport, place here to sign the paperwork and send it off to the State Department. You got inspections. Most likely we would look to go back to the JCCA if we need to. GIS and parcel data, if that's something we can take on. I don't know if there's gonna be any changes or impact to recycling. There's a water system here. The county also partially funds the district health department, so. There's a lot of those things that, if we're gonna ask our community to take a big survey, part of that needs to be included just because, we're gonna have to start looking at alternatives, assuming this millage fails, and then I hope would be, if you read the paper on Saturday, that they'd at least try again if it fails to do a public safety millage. Lord only knows how it all is gonna work, because public safety millage, I think, has a greater chance to succeed than just a general operating one, but you know, Isabella County's got two very different voting blocks. You've got the city and you got the out county. You know, a public safety millage is one that I don't see the city coming out and supporting overwhelmingly because the city has its own police department, so there's no need to do it. You know, but
They're also putting,
City,
pool-
college and the tribe.
yeah,
they're also putting the pool on the ballot now too in August or no? is it
no, it's not,
February?
this is
February one?
election, but that's only in the city,
Right, I understand, but
Yeah.
that's still money out of their pocket.
city and Union Township.
Mhm.
You know, so it's a not a great situation, I mean, let's be honest. So with that, you know, we've kind of done a little bit of work on the questions for the survey. The council's looked at it. We are gonna do chicken questions in there, apart from beekeeping questions. You know, you can see on one, you know, this may need to be reworked depending on how the millage out, it comes out, so. I think we're pretty well, you know, set a framework on the survey. I've not had any real feedback that we're missing topics that need to be addressed. And we're all just kind of waiting to see what happens with the millage and, you know, come up with what type of questions we want to present and, you know, how much we want to take out that's already in there in terms of, you know, trying to keep it in a manageable lane. You know, because some of that too is gonna be particularly on the policing end of the equation. You know, do we want to present a question that, you know, if you support a potential millage at this level, this is the type of service that we could provide. Versus a millage at this level could provide this level of service to the community. You know, those are things that we're gonna need to flush out a little bit better. On our website, under the village council tab, we actually did look at public safety options 2021. It's post-COVID, 21, I think. So we're not like starting from zero and coming up with data and service options. Like we've done all this legwork. We do need to update it for current costs, that kind of stuff, but the bulk of the work has been done already, to at least give a, you know, honest and realistic explanation of, you know, 1 mil of taxation would provide this level of police coverage. You know, 1.5 this, you know, and then also, you know, what we might have to do internally in terms of, you know, right now we have a code enforcement position. You know, obviously I think that would need to morph into police budget and the police personnel and how we would shift some of those responsibilities and, so on and so forth, and, you know, staffing, that kind of stuff, insurance. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the survey. To begin the process, we will need to send out a notice to plan to surrounding entities, utilities, those type of things. I think I included it in here. I thought I did, if I didn't write. Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah, it's,
so when we did our current master plan, the laundry list of people that got the notice to plan, these are also the same that get the actual plan to comment on Sherman Township, Broomfield Township, Deerfield Township, Nottawa Township, Isabella County, the East Michigan Council of Governments, DT, Consumers, Homeworks, Charter, Communications, which is Spectrum, Frontier, IRI, the Road Commission, Department of Public Works, the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, Chippewa School District, and the Lake Isabella Calvert Memorial Airport is our list of people that we mail to. And this is a simple letter. Okay, we're preparing a master plan. Want to let you know, so it's on your radar, because we're gonna send you a draft comment, you know, if you have anything for us to work on, let us know. But the plan would be to send out a newsletter in March that would have the survey invite at that point in time, so the nice little colored timeline up on the board, you know, add 2 months to everything, because that's what we'll be. I will also not be here if you guys want to meet in March, because I have one of the map trainings is that night. So, my thought kind of is if you guys are agreeable to all of that, I'll authorize sending out the notice to plan. And then we can meet in April to start looking at survey results. I think would be the plan of action.
Any further comment on that? I think we would entertain a motion to issue notice to plan then.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Moving on to new business.
So housekeeping time of the year. Under the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, planning commissions are legally required to do three things. Meet at least 4 times a year, have bylaws, and submit a written report to the legislative body detailing planning and zoning activity with recommendations. So, in your packet, you have the draft that I prepared of the report that hopefully you would submit to the council. That kind of follows the same template that we've historically used. It's all defined points and covers. The act really doesn't say anything other than the recommendations, but you know, you gotta report on the activity. So how you do that is up to you, but we have the luxury, because we didn't incorporate till 1998, of being able to tell you every permit we've ever issued on an annual basis, how many new homes, how many variances, how many ordinances, how many meetings you've been subjected to, since day one of the village. So, since incorporating, we have issued 1,218 zoning permits, of which 56 happened in the last year. 405 new homes since then, 9 of which were last year.
Wow.
240 planning commission meetings, only 5 of them were last year. So, you know, look at those early years, folks. 12, 13, 12, 11, 12, 14, 13, 11, 12. It's only been in recent years where we've gotten down to 6, 7, and 5.
We're just so much more efficient.
Yeah. There you
A
go.
lot of those other meetings in the old days
Yeah.
were not 1 hour long,
Oh, no.
like 2-3 hours. Sometimes I think we even did a 4-hour one.
So the next page in the report covers planning commission activities for the year, which is obviously the bulk of it. The only ordinance that you guys worked on last year was right at the start of the year. It was a rezoning request. The house is still there, but it was, the Cook property across from Unified Brands or whatever they are now. They're gonna tear the house down on the road. They want the whole property rezoned ag. They haven't done the house yet, but that's what the plan was. We did have one special land use application, which was the garage cross street project at Southport.
That's all done, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's close to being done, at least on the exterior. You did not have any site plans to review, but you did do a site plan training session. Monster Joe's Truck and Tow, for those of you who remember. ZBA met once, dimensional variance at 1268 Queensway. They were very appreciative of the changes to the zoning ordinance that allowed them the flexibility to look at the project to look the way they did. Cover our training that members did throughout the year. Maintaining my AICP credential. Master plan, we just already hit on that point. Redevelopment Ready Communities Program, that was one of the goals last year, is to finalize all the stuff necessary for that. For the essential level certification, which we submitted at the end of 23 and, have tentatively been given the approval for essential status. They will be doing a formal presentation, I think, at an upcoming council meeting. So we have done that. If we want to move forward with going to the certified level, I put in there the best guess of where I think we are in terms of those criteria. Some of them are things we need to do annually that we don't do now, like an annual meeting between planning commission and legislative body, annually update the training plan, annually update the public participation plan. And there are some much more beefier items like develop an economic development strategy, kind of have one of those, we just don't have it down on paper. Identify incentives that can be offered in projects, kind of have that right now because we already have a policy that says we will not give PA 198 abatements. Develop a marketing plan, do a corridor improvement plan, since we don't have a DDA, so that would be for Coldwater Road. Probably not something I think we're gonna go after. It just is probably a little bit too much with everything else we have going on to start trying to do some of those projects. We can, however, get matching technical assistance if we wanted to go after any of those items in, that will be necessary to go for certification at the certified level. Talk a little bit more at council about that, but I could maybe see a marketing plan being something that would be worthwhile. You know, the corridor improvement plan without utilities, there's not a whole heck of a lot that you can do on Coldwater Road. You know, I think our economic development strategy is pretty well already set in stone with the way we function. You know, so a marketing plan would actually, I think, be something worthwhile to consider. For goals and recommendations, update the master plan. I do think it would be wise to do a technical update on some of the things in the zoning ordinance. We hit on that. I don't think the November meeting, I think the meeting before that, we talked a little bit about that. There's been a couple of items that have come up that, you know, could be worded, I think, a little bit differently or better. You know, nothing substantial, just a little tweak here, a little tweak there. Other than that, we've got the roster of committees and the meeting dates, and I'm gonna add the fee schedule to it before we send it to council, but that is the planning and zoning report for the year of 2023.
Any comments, questions? If not,
Actually,
we'll
I have
entertain a
some slides
motion.
I made.
You forgot to flip your slide?
I forgot to flip the sides, you know, by myself, just doing my thing.
They're very nice.
They'll look great when I put them into the YouTube video so people at home can look at them.
I want to make that
I do edit them, yeah.
one slide, you've got 5.3, develop a marketing plan,
Yeah.
thinking about marketing. If you're gonna keep these slides, you may wanna update that,
Oh,
a marketing
yeah.
plan, the marketing.
I can fix that.
Okay,
So we'll entertain a motion to submit to council.
I'll make a motion that we submit our 2023 planning and zoning annual report to the village council.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, we'll move along. Once again, still no public.
Still no public meeting day, so we got
I thought we went over that.
this
You
month,
mentioned the word.
scratch next month, so then we'd meet next on the 9th, if that's agreeable to everybody.
April
We
9th.
gotta go.
Right.
Okay.
April 9th.
April 9th. And that's all I got, folks.
Okay, well, I skipped you. We went to public and back and spun around again, and there's still no public, so we'll skip that.